There are over 200 members in IGO covering a tremendous variety of ministries. Bob Spratt is a retired prison chaplain, but at over 70 he is still actively involved with the work at Weymouth Prison in Lancashire. Bob regularly takes Bible studies with the inmates at Weymouth.
No book quite like the Bible, and the men are so excited at times when they see what a wonderful book it is, and we just have the privilege of opening it up a little bit.
Bob is also involved with a project shipping reconditioned motorbikes to Ethiopia for the use of prison workers there. I caught up with Bob in the chapel, where he told me a little bit about the project.
The men here in the workshops, under a very good workshops instructor, have renovated them, made a beautiful job of them.
You've just come back from Ethiopia, I think in February. Describe the conditions of the prison in Ethiopia very briefly to me.
Very crowded, very insanitary, a good deal of disease, contagious disease, sometimes a lack of water, horrendous conditions in which to live.
I understand also that the prisoners here have raised money. What was that for, Bob?
Well, when they heard about the conditions in Ethiopian prisons and the fact that men in one prison, about 1,000 prisoners and not even a toilet pit, they said, come on, that's out of order, we must do something about it. So they raised the money. My next journey meant an early start, driving to Stranraer, and then taking the ferry to the port of Belfast. I was going to speak to Cecil Stewart, who has a worldwide ministry incorporating the Christian TV channel CCN, located at a beautiful house in White Abbey.
The part that you're sitting in is CCN studios and offices. The other side is a nursing home, and of course we developed nursing homes over 30 years, starting in 1968, until it became the largest privately owned nursing home group in the UK, until we sold it in order more time to the work of the kingdom. Our main ministry in these days is teaching and edifying leaders and evangelism in the cities. We just had a large crusade in Kampala, Uganda last month, and we have several thousand leaders come together for 3-4 days, and there's a tremendous hunger, especially in Africa, for practical teaching. We've had a long association with Bob Searle, and David Greeno has been a good friend from I was a teenager, so David's made a great contribution to our life and to our whole family in terms of Christian values, and really spoke into our lives when we were very young about integrity and honesty and walking uprightly, and also faith, and how to serve the Lord and to put Him first in all of our lives. I was there at the first, I think, event they had in Southend-on-Sea in 1966. And I've always appreciated the unity and the integrity of the men who's running IGO.
In County Tyrone, I met up with John Greenaway, who pastors a church in Dungannon. John also runs a second-hand furniture shop in Portadown, a frequent scene of clashes in Northern Ireland's troubles. And how does this shop, with all this furniture and bric-a-brac, fit into this?
Well, we get people who come in who are in need. They may be in need of things in their homes, or they may be in need in things in their lives. People suicidal, people who come in for help, people who just want to come in to read a book, or maybe buy a Bible, or we maybe give them Bibles.
What happens to the profits from this shop?
The profits that we make from this shop all go towards the Lord's work. You may see in the background here, we support Filipino orphanages. There are 2 orphanages in Filipinos. One is a church that supports tribal people who don't have any money, don't have any education, and they have a Bible school where they come in, and the only book that they study is the Bible.
I understand you've just come back from the Middle East. What on earth were you doing out there?
We've quite a long-standing relationship, really since the 1980s, 1982, with Israel and the surrounding territories. And I went over early on, very much involved on the Israeli side of things, and then within the first few years began to open my heart to the Arab believers, particularly to Palestinian believers. And we were thrilled to see that there was a growing prayer fellowship of Messianic Jews and of Palestinian Christians And in many ways, we've sought to do very little more than just to encourage that.
President Kingsley Armstrong often takes IGO evangelism teams into different countries.
Ghana is something that's really in my heart. I've just settled my team going to Ghana the next trip. There are 10 of us going. For me, Ghana is one of the big countries. Osman Owusu, who's our minister in Ghana, when he joined IGO, we went to visit him, and we always go to visit somebody who's in IGO, you see. God's doing amazing things in Ghana today.
IGO members Morris and Joanna Barrett of Barrett Ministries in Manchester have just returned from Rajamundry in South India at the invitation of Pastor Samuel J. Kumar.
Well, we met Pastor J. Kumar at an IGO conference. I've been invited to India many times for evangelistic crusades, but this is the first time I was asked as a teacher, so I was really excited. And we were able to teach over 70 ministers at a conference, really fulfilling for me as a teacher.
When we first met Brother Samuel, he asked Morris and I both to go because he wanted me to sing. And when I did sing, I was amazed at the reception that I had from the people, because some did understand English, but even though others didn't, they seemed very moved, very touched by the way I sang, and I was very blessed to be able to sing for them.
Samuel, the pastor, had a very good job with the government, but God called him to go to the untouchables in the villages, and the average wage that he pays his ministers is £15 a month. So they're very poor, Jeff. They can just afford to eat and barely clothe themselves. We were able to take not a big amount to us, about £1,500, but when you think £15 a month wages divided by it, that's a lot of wages. Brother Samuel said that some of the pastors would be able to, to put a new roof on the church, and we would be able to give all these ministers an envelope with money in it. It was a great blessing.